talk about it.
Hey, we're gonna kick Minnesota's butt in wrestling tonight.
Okay, come over here to the corner. He's got the same problem.
All right, I got a little funny story. So on Mills, I've known John since probably second or third grade. So I'm thankful John got me into. He thought I was big fishing, but he got me into hunting. I just go out with the camera and that kind of stuff. He didn't really teach me how to dress for all this thing. I had no clue. I froze my butt off a few times, but he got me into bow hunting a lot, and eventually I got a cabin up at my place. So we hunted up there a lot. But one thing I did learn, just like Gene, with John being in that front spot, same thing, if you had a really hot area, you better be ready to beat John to it. So he gave me the good spots. But yeah, I'm thankful he got me into hunting.
Say, Jenny, I just want to say thank you for the privilege of sharing John with us. I'm John's cousin Peggy, and I just have to thank John and Jenny both for always being there, especially with my mom and dad. Uncle Marvin is here, but I do remember a story, and I didn't really remember this, or it wasn't shared with me until after my mom passed away. My mom was starting to suffer from dementia, and it came to light that she was at a Fleet Farm when it was here on 18th Avenue. She got a little confused, lost, but she knew enough to pick up the phone and call Johnny, and he came to Fleet Farm and helped her out and got her situated enough to get herself home. So I just wanted to share that story with everyone because that's something that was shared with me and how appreciative we are because John and Jenny meant the world to my mom and my dad. And I do remember, I think it was at Aunt Joan's funeral, we were talking, Jean had just retired, and they were talking about hunting, and I said, oh, then in other words, you can bring Jean hunting with you. And John's response to me was, heck no, he's got to find his own house.
It was like a quick piece of steak. You really can share it.
Or a pound of bacon.
And I have nothing to do with sharing John with anybody. He made up his own mind about everything. I just kind of rolled on.
Are you going to talk? Everybody thinks you're going to. Okay.
You know what? I'll do a quick one. Mine's quick. So, Mark and I have known John for, how was it? We've been married 30 years, and he was in our wedding. Let's just put it that way. It's a long time. Anyway, so when we were in college, all the Stubb boys came over, meaning Galeotto, John, Mark. Anyway, some of them were at our house in Eau Claire. So, you know, we had a good night. Next morning, we wake up. All of a sudden, we go out to the kitchen, and here's John. He goes, do you have any bacon? That's why it really sucks. And I go, well, I think Sandy has some, you know, in the freezer over there. And he goes, well, I already ate all that. 3 pounds of bacon were gone before anybody else got up. He was looking for more. Sandy was upset. But he goes, that was supposed to be for everybody. But John took care of it.
Dad, explain your outfit.
Oh, well, Jenny said we were all supposed to wear hunting stuff, you know, if we could. And I do think this was actually John's who gave it to my husband years ago when he started hunting because you could tell it's really big. I mean, but that's why I'm wearing it.
I'll talk about John's ability to follow Victoria in the kitchen. Everybody knows I'm Annette, John's my little sister. But anyway, Mom was known for caramel, she was known for baking, she was known known for preserving, canning, just everything. And John, I would say probably out of all 9 of us kids, probably does that the best. I mean, he, canned, as Ginny and everyone has said earlier, tomatoes and pasta sauce and spaghetti sauce and Uncle Marvin's corn, his sweet corn. Every year I get a call from John, do you want some sweet corn? We're doing sweet corn. Sure, I'm not gonna turn down your sweet corn. But he would make her caramels, he would make her potato noodles and her Kretzlies and all these other things that none of the rest of us would even kind of dream of trying. But he did it, and it always tasted like Mom's. And so I would just echo, his love for food, but he really, really enjoyed Mom's recipes and kind of carrying on her legacy with food and just with everything that she would make. And when I spent some time with him a couple of weeks before he passed, he's like, Annette, get this book out. These are my favorite recipes of Mom's. So I took pictures of them with my phone. Because he had little notes on them, like the chocolate chip cookies. These are really yummy. They're soft and chewy. So I have them on my phone. I have all these pictures of they were Mom's recipes, but ones that he really recommended the most. So I just thought that was really pretty cool, because I'm kind of jealous because I didn't do half of the stuff that Mom did and John did it. He did all those things and kind of carried that on. And I enjoyed his elderberry and mulberry jams and jellies and his elderberry liqueur and also just his enthusiasm for life. I mean, when we needed a Santa, or whatever celebrations and things, he was always willing to raise his hand and just kind of help with things and just to try to be there and, be with the family and do whatever we could do that was fun. He was always there raising his hand and happy to help and do whatever. So we'll really miss that. His enthusiasm, his big hugs, and getting down on the ground and playing with the kids. And as you can see on some of the pictures, that was always really important to him, really connect. So we're all very grateful that we had that with him in our lives. So.
I see somebody wants to say something over there, I think.
Jenny, I want to say a good story. I hope I can get through this. Christine, my name is Glen. I live down by Reed and Becky, and my wife Christine, and John comes down there to turkey hunt. And he'd come down, like Reed said, it was probably back in the 90s. He'd come in the barn, we were very farmers, he'd come in the barn and ask if him and his brothers could go hunting there. And we said, of course they could. And in compensation for that, they always brought gifts, whether it's smoked salmon or the elderberry jam or whatever. John was always very generous with that. And we developed a friendship over the years. And John would buy more turkey tags than anybody else. He would get multiple ones for every season if he could. He just loved turkey. And I have to say that he kind of introduced me to turkey hunting as well then. And we would, he would go to one place on the farm and I'd go to another. And there was one time we would text each other, we got a turkey coming in, I could hear his gobbling, he could hear mine gobbling. And I happened to shoot mine first, and about 15 seconds later he shoots his, and we're texting each other, did you get yours? You get yours? And we both got our turkeys, but it was something that we shared. John was a very generous man, and I went through a divorce, and shortly after that next spring, John said, I want to do something special for you. He's like, you're going to get a package from Maine on your doorstep when I come down. And I didn't know what he was getting at. but he knew I liked lobster. So he had shrimp, lobster, and scallops shipped from Maine, fresh. And he said, I'm gonna cook you a meal. And he cooked that meal, and to this day, that's probably the best meal I've ever had. It was just neat, his generosity. I'm sure that all of you here have many stories about John. That's why we're here today, that's why we love him. Christine and I went to see him when he was on hospice, and we shared some of the memories we had, fishing, hunting. And John told me something nobody's ever said to me before. He said, hey Glenn, when you get to heaven, I'm going to show you around. Wow. I mean, that was special. And I know when we left that day, he had some elderberry jams that he sent back with us, or some different kind of jams. And I talked to him maybe 4 or 5 days before he passed away. He's like, Glenn, I'm getting really weak. I don't know how much longer I can last. And he said, I want you to know that there's going to be a package coming to your door. Because he usually, Christmas time, those caramels that you talked about aren't to die for. And how he took the time to package each and every one of them and stack them in a box so neatly. I mean, I didn't want to share them when they come to my house.
Not even with Christine?
I kind of hid them. But John told me 4 or 5 days before he passed, he's like, there's going to be a package coming your way. And you know, with Amazon and everything, you go to the door, there's packages every now and then. So I went to the door, picked up this package, and I opened it, and it was from John. And I know I texted Jenny right away. I mean, how many times you get a gift from somebody after they passed away? And yet, that's the ultimate gift that Jesus Christ did for all of us. John was just very generous. I know that all of us will miss him, but I also know he'll live forever in our hearts. And I'm grateful for that.
Well, that's kind of a tough act to follow. Well, I think we're just gonna, everybody can just continue with their meal. If somebody feels like they wanna say something more, if they get their courage up, just butt right in.
Do you want